Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to the ultimate beginner's guide to Kindred. I just want to say, there's so much to say about this champion. This is not even the entire passive. This is only half of it. The other half explains pretty much exactly where you can expect the mark to appear in the enemy jungle, herald, or anything. All of that I'm going to be talking about because this is going to be a very important video to exactly understand how Kindred works. A lot of important stuff to understand about the ultimate, third ability, second ability, and the first ability as well. I looked up everything, and this is going to be a full guide. This is not necessarily going to be a beginner's guide anymore. This is going to be like an actual ultimate full guide. First of all, happy Easter to everyone. It's a very nice time, you know, Sunday. Go celebrate it with your families, have some fun. I'm having a lot of fun, you know, families coming over tonight as well. It's a nice day to find an excuse to eat chocolate. So yeah, let's get into the video. First things first, the passive, right? Like this is the obvious thing. Let's first talk about what's written here, right? What we know. And then later I'll explain to you everything that we don't know. You mark targets with Mark of the Kindred for hunting. You do additional 30% damage to small monsters, red Bramble Pack, and blue Sentinels that are marked. So you don't do bonus damage to champions. You're only gonna do bonus damage to jungle camps. So this also means you don't do bonus damage to Dragon, Baron, Elder if the mark is on it. There are different ways to mark a target. Auto refresh every 30 seconds the mark on a monster expires, and a new one automatically applies. Marks on a monster are highlighted on the minimap. You can see the mark is on the Gromp right now. On the enemy Gromp, right? Like that's what we can see right now. The second part is you can also mark an enemy champion. You can tap on the mark button above your spells to mark an enemy champion. Scoring a takedown against a hunted target grants you Mark of Kindred. Right? You get a stack. It then empowers Kindred. Let me show you how that works real quick. So we have the Garen right here. You can see I can mark him. Something important. Let's take a look at how long it takes to mark him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Okay? And then you can kill him and you're gonna get a mark, right? Like boom, boom, boom. I got a mark. You can see I already had a mark this game because I took one. Now I have 2. I'm not gonna go to 3 yet, and I'll explain to you why. Let's first bring the bot back. So that's how you get marks, right? You get the mark like that, or I can invade his jungle and steal this one. That gives me a mark too. Something else to note, if you mark an enemy, you briefly gain vision of them. So like for example, if the enemy jungler is taking his jungle and I suddenly decide to mark him, for like 2 seconds or so, it will give me vision on him. So I'll know where he is. That's another thing that's also not written that I just told you about. So what does the mark do? Let's say you get 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks. What does it do? So the first 3 stacks that you get will grant you 75 attack range, okay? So after 3 stacks, you get 75 range. So you can see right now the range seems to be the same. But when I get my 3rd stack, so like I can't mark him now, but after a while you can mark. You can of course not mark the same enemy within like 3 minutes or so. That's another thing that's also not written. You have to mark different enemies all the time because you can see the timer right here. It's around like 2 or 3 minutes. So after 3 marks, you get 75 bonus attack range. And then after that, every 3 marks give you an extra 25 attack range. So obviously the first 3 stacks are going to be the most important ones here to give you that range. And then after that, you know, it slowly becomes even more and more and more and more. And then when you're sitting at like 12 stacks, 15 stacks, your range will be insane, really high. So this is also what the mark does. Mark of the Kindred also empowers your abilities and grants them the following effects. So every mark you get gives you Dance of Arrows. This is your first ability. After you use your first ability, you get attack speed. And this attack speed scales with the marks. Every mark gives you 5% more attack speed. And this attack speed lasts for 4 seconds. Essentially, you're going to be able to get this attack speed throughout the entire fight. So every mark will give you 5% attack speed, basically. That is insane, just so you know. It's already a massive up. It also does bonus damage with your second ability. 1% more per current health. So your second ability, I'll explain how the abilities work, is going to do damage based on the current health. Let me see, that's right here. Damage based on current health. You can see it's 1.5 plus 1% of the Mark of Kindred. You see? So like it stacks up with the Mark of Kindred. Next up is another thing that it does. Your third ability does bonus damage equal to percentage of missing health, which also stacks with Mark of Kindred. If the enemies are low HP, you do bonus damage, and the funny thing is the base damage also scales with Mark of Kindred. Essentially, you'll do more damage, you have more attack speed, everything more range too. Now let's talk about the part that's not written in the game. So, how do you know where your mark is gonna appear? Right now it's on the Gromp. Let's actually go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and take the mark on the Gromp for you guys. Oh, by the way, you can jump over walls, that's another thing. So let's actually just take this. And you'll notice the next one, I can tell, is gonna spawn on the red Bramble Pack, the blue Sentinel, the Krugs, or the Wolves. One of the two. It's gonna spawn on one of the 3, 4, whatever you want to say. So the way it works, I'm actually gonna take this. I'm gonna put this screen for you guys on. You should be able to see this. Here it is. This is the extra part. So you can see on 0 marks, it is always gonna go on the Rift Scuttler. Always. Okay? Always, always, always. So it's gonna go on the Rift Scuttler, you'll be able to take it. It's a random one, Rift Scuttler, you'll see. After that, after 1 mark, it's always gonna be on the Rift Scuttler, the Raptors, or the Gromp. One of them, always. And then when you reach 4 to 7 stacks, it's always gonna be on the red Brambleback, blue Sentinel, Krugs, or the Wolves. And then when you reach 8 stacks and above, it's always gonna be on the Rift Herald, Baron, Dragons, or Elder Dragon. So you can see, it sort of gets harder and harder and harder to get these stacks. And also, it will always be in the enemy jungle. So as you can see, I got 3 stacks now. Now it's over here, you see? And then at 8 stacks, I can actually very quickly, slowly but steadily get to 8 stacks. I mean, constantly killing this guy throughout the video, taking the jungle while I'm explaining the ability. So like, you do bonus damage to the jungle camp, by the way, that has the stack. That's another thing you need to notice. Now I'm sitting at 5 stacks, but yes, let's now explain the abilities. First ability. This ability is a little bit different than you think. You roll in a target direction and you fire your arrow to up to 3 enemies. Boom. This is not a basic attack. Look, I'm just rolling. Boom. It automatically attacks anyone within your range. And the range is your basic attack range. So obviously early game, you're not gonna attack enemies from super far. But the later we get, the further it attacks. And it does max damage to all enemies. And just so you know, this ability does not apply on hit effects. So does not work with Blade of the Rune King, does not work with Kraken Slayer, does not immediately apply Trinity Force. It does not apply it. But of course, the next basic attack will apply it. Just so you know, like it doesn't apply on hit effects. But the important part is it does damage. It actually does a lot of damage. You can go over walls. And you can see whether or not you will go over the wall. Like you can see now, I'm not gonna go over the wall. Like like here it shows you. This one should go over the wall, yep. Even though it looks like it shouldn't, it will. Because you can see that the line goes all the way through. So like as long as this line goes all the way through, you will dash through the wall. Even though if it looks impossible. But here you can see the line doesn't go through, look. Now it doesn't, you'll dash into the wall. So the easy way to tell if you're about to jump over wall. So essentially you don't have to try to line it up perfectly. Literally just look if the line exists. Like look, right now, you see? This is not gonna go over the wall. But this is gonna go over the wall. It's as simple as that. Look, even walls that look like really hard to go over, you simply walk up to them. You see that one did not hit because it went here. But you simply walk up to them, you see this, and boom, you can jump over it. You walk up to the wall, you see that you can jump over it, and boom, you can jump over anything. Just so you know, like that's how. Let's take the red Bramble back as well, just because I want to show you at some point. Now we're sitting at 6 stacks. So it's still going to be spawning on the red buff and all of that. But when it reaches 8 stacks, the next one is 100% going to be on the Baron or on the Elder Dragon. So first ability does damage like this. It's also a basic attack cancel. First ability... Oh, I was going to explain combos later, by the way. But that's what it does. It gives you attack speed for 4 seconds too. So as you can see, my normal attack speed, boom, 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 boom. But when I use first ability... Boom, 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 boom. Look at all those booms. Massive, massive attack speed. You don't need lethal tempo on Kindred because of the first ability. And now the second ability. Again, a lot of text. Let me explain. The first part, the passive. You gain Hunter's Figure stacks when moving or attacking. And after getting 100 stacks, Kindred's next attack restores health. It's sitting at 0 health now because I'm full HP. But I'll show you. Health restored is based on missing health. And based on your level. So, based on the level of this ability. Right now, you can see the stacks are here. And if you're full HP, it does not consume the stacks, okay? But I'm gonna take some damage from the turret here. Just to showcase to you how this truly works. So, let's take some damage from the turret right here. Just to show you. Just so you know, I do have lifesteal as well. Oh wait, let's walk out of the turret. So, I'm gonna do the first attack. You're gonna see healing, look. Wait for it. Boom. It's the 67. Look, my basic attack already heals me for 46. But when I get the 100 stacks, I'm gonna move around. 100 stacks. You see that 67? The 67. And it's gonna be less and less and less the higher my HP is. Right now it's 67, you can see. But if I keep attacking, it goes down, the healing, you see? However, every basic attack you do as well, look, gives you 12 stacks. You see? Every basic attack gives you 12 stacks of this passive. So essentially, you can see how this skills hard, right? You become lower HP, you're gonna heal up more, and you get more attack speed with more stacks. I'm gonna quickly take the stack in their backs right here, just because I want to reach, you know, 8 stacks while we're playing this game. So let's attack this, take this jungle camp real quick. There we go. Now we're at 7 stacks. I'll call the Garen as well. Because at 8 stacks it gets a bit interesting. So how does the second ability work? That's the passive, right? Like it heals you, it's very nice. Attack speed helps with it a lot. That's it. But next up you have an active as well. Your active claims an area as territory and directs the wolf to maul the last target that Lamb attacked. So if you've attacked an enemy, your wolf is gonna attack that enemy too. And the wolf's mauling does magic damage equal to a certain amount of damage plus 1.5 plus 1% of Mark of the Kindred stacks. So Mark of the Kindred stacks is gonna, how much damage is it gonna have now for me? It's gonna have 7% because I have 7 stacks, you see? That's how it works. So this is gonna do 1.5 plus 7. So 8.5% of the target's current health right now. Plus all of this. So let's take a look at it. Just so you know, when I had 2 stacks, one stack, I was testing it, it did like 177 damage. Let's see how much it does now. 450! It did 177. Look, and it does less and less because it does damage based on the current HP. And this is important because Kindred, some of Kindred's abilities do current HP, some do missing HP. So this is current HP. However, this ability does both of them. So it does damage based on current HP. Sorry, the third ability does damage on both of them. This one does damage on current HP, as you can see. And Wolf does bonus damage to marked monsters, not marked enemies. So if you're trying to take a marked monster from the enemy jungle, it does bonus damage. But this is essentially what the ability does. And there's one more thing. Let me see if is it written anywhere here. This ability is called Dance of Arrows. I'm not sure if it's written anywhere, but this ability greatly reduces the cooldown of Dance of Arrows, which is the first ability. So as you can see, I'm gonna put my cooldowns on, not 0. You know, Dance of Arrows has a 7-second cooldown, which is quite long, even in the late game. But when you use your second ability, and you remain within this territory, look at this, look. Boom. You see the cooldown? It's 2 seconds now. So this is insane. You can constantly maintain the attack speed, and you can roll around the fight all the time, as you can see, just like that. Something else I'm curious about, if I roll and then put down the second ability, as you can see, the cooldown also gets reduced. You see? So you can also roll in and then use your second ability. That works as well. Let's put a stack on Garen. You can also fight the Garen while the stack is on him, but you gotta wait until, like, now it's on him and now I'll get the stack. So you can essentially put a stack on an enemy even while you're fighting that enemy, but it takes 5 seconds or so for the stack to charge up. Make sure you do not kill the enemy before the stack is actually fully charged. Let's take away the Garen again. Now I'm gonna take their blue buff. This is gonna be the last time the stack is gonna be in their jungle. I'll show you. So I'm gonna take their blue buff now. It's gonna be the last time the stack will be in their jungle, because the next one is gonna be on the Elder Dragon or on the Baron. Since we've reached 9 stacks now, 8 plus. The reason that it was still on the blue buff is because it put it on the blue buff when I was at 7 stacks. So that's what the second ability does. You know, the passive, I explained it to you guys. You heal up. Second ability puts down this territory, which reduces the cooldown of your first ability, and your wolf will bite the last enemy you hit and do damage based on current HP. As you can see, if I attack this guy, he hits him. If I attack this guy, he goes on him. If I attack this guy, he goes on him. That's what it does. Now let's talk about the third ability. There's so much text, but let me explain. And just so you know, where's the stack? Guess what? It's on the Baron. So as you can see, predictable. It is predictable if you know this little trick of when the stack is going to be on certain enemies. No idea why they did not write it here, but now you know in my video. Oh, by the way, today is the last day you can enter for March giveaway, skin giveaway. Put down a comment under the video to enter the giveaway. Now let's talk about the all-important third ability. This ability is somewhat comparable to Vayne's passive. Let me just show you how it works. You put this on the enemy. 1, 2, 3, and it does bonus damage. Not true damage, that's my Kraken Slayer. Let me actually show you without the Kraken Slayer. So, boom, you see, it does bonus damage. And as you can see, it does more damage if the enemy is low HP. Look, 1328, boom, 1696. You see, it does more damage. 2200 damage when they're low HP. Just so you know, when I was at 1 stack, this did 1300 damage. It's doing nearly double damage just with 9 stacks. Just so you know how ridiculous it is. Although these dummies have 10,000 HP. So, of course, the stacks are going to have a bit more of a dramatic effect. But, what does this do? First of all, you throw something on an enemy. Boom. You see, it throws it on the enemy. This thing that you throw slows the enemy. It skills with AP, which is quite funny. But, basically, it slows them for 50%. For 1 second. This allows you to catch up to them easily. Kindred's third attack within 4 seconds, just so you know, third basic attack, so your first ability and your second ability do not actually contribute towards stacking, only basic attacks, as you can see. Something else I'm curious about, so let's do 1, 2, and wait, when does it go away? After 4 seconds. So I'm actually curious about another thing. If I count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is another thing that they've not properly written down. Because it says Kindred's third attack within 4 seconds of attacking an enemy. The thing is, you don't just have 4 seconds. You apparently have 4 seconds after each individual attack. So you don't have to even rush this one. Just put it on an enemy and attack them. So, Kindred's third attack within 4 seconds of attacking an enemy directs the wolf to pounce on the target, and it does physical damage equal to a certain amount plus 8 plus 1% of Mark of the Kindred. That's a lot of missing health damage, just so you know. This is a lot. Like, this is gonna be 8 plus 9. 17% missing health, guys. And the crazy part is, that's not all. Wolf's attack does even more damage. Even more. This is bonus damage. So this will come on top of this one. Just so you'll always do this. And this is bonus. Equal to the same amount. But this time plus 12 plus 1.5% Mark of the Kindred. This is going to be 12 plus 1.5. How much is that? 1.5 times 9. It's like 13.5. 25.5% plus this. Which is... So 25.5 plus 17, you're doing nearly 40% missing health damage physical with only 9 stacks. If you have 15 stacks, this is going to be 50% damage. You have 20 stacks, 60%. It's even more than Garen's ultimate only on your third ability. But only in the late game. Only in the late game. And it shows you, right? Like, it shows you it does actually do that damage. Like, look, if they're super low, look at how much damage it does. It's ridiculous amounts of damage. Oh, I want to put this on him. Look at that. Look, look, look. 2200 damage. Look. Boom. Boom. And that is indeed 40% of his HP. Minus the armor. So I am actually doing 4500 damage, but these dummies have exactly the amount of armor to half your physical damage. That's why it's only doing 2200 damage, even though I just explained to you guys it's supposed to do 45% missing health. It is doing 45, but the dummy has armor. But I hope you guys really understand that this ability is the finisher, right? Or this is your gank ability. So like you go in, boom, gank, you slow the enemy and you do some bonus damage. Or it's the finisher, right? Like in the middle of a fight, you're attacking enemy, boom, 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 boom. And then third ability, boom, boom, and boom. And you finished off the enemy. So it is a finisher and an engager. Both on, you know, depending on the situation. And now, did I explain everything? Yes, I explained everything about this ability. Now, the ultimate. And before you think you know everything about the ultimate, let me just explain. Lamb blesses the ground under herself for 3 seconds, creating a zone where all units cannot be killed. When units inside the zone, so this is what the ult actually does. You only need to read this sentence. When units inside the zone fall to 10% health or below, they become invulnerable to damage for as long as they stay inside the zone. You know, let's just quickly show you how this works, just quickie. Putting a stack on the Garen, by the way. Oh, by the way, let's show you something else. Of course, this works on enemies too. So boom, look, look, look. He cannot get killed either. So don't bite, you know, it works for your team and the enemy. And it works for Dragon. It works for Baron. It works for minions. It works for everything. For red buff. Like, let's go here. Even for this type of stuff. Nothing is gonna die. Nothing. So you can stop the enemy from smiting Dragon. You can make crazy plays with this. You can use one minion to end the game. Because the minion can stay alive for 3 seconds. Those are the types of things you need to think about when doing this. So what else is important to note about this? So, you cannot die if you're below 10% health. However, during which they cannot be healed. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does it really say you cannot be healed at all while you're below 10% health within the zone? That's exactly what it means. Let me show you. I'm gonna take some damage again from the turret. I'll get myself under 10% HP. It's gonna be a little bit hard to do it perfectly. That is under 10%. So, just so you know, I'm gonna ult. I was not under 10%. Let me get under 10%. It's a little bit sketchy to get myself exactly under 10%. Okay, now I'm 100% under 10%. I think that's under 10%. Okay, so look, I'm gonna ult. Look, I'm attacking. I'm not healing. Look, I have vampirism. Look, I'm attacking now. Of course, I'm healing. I have vampirism. So what does this mean? If a Soraka tries to heal me and I'm below 10% on my ult, I'm not gonna get healed. Another thing that this means is the moment you get below 10% health, during your ult, you're never gonna be able to heal up until after your ult. This is important. This is very important because this means if you're ulting in the middle of the enemy and the enemies are within your ult too, and the enemy Janna decides to ult, she's not gonna heal her teammates if they're below 10%. Okay? This is important. This is another thing you need to note about this ability. But also be careful, right? Like, you cannot heal, but of course after your ult, it heals everyone, boom, for HP. It restores 350 health to units within the zone and heals for 150 health on top of it. And this ability does not take effect against structures. So you cannot, your turret will still die. So that's what this ability does. I hope I properly explained the abilities to you guys. Now let's explain some combos. I don't want to get too deep with the combos, but basically the number one combo on like how to gank lane, you can just dash, third ability, second ability, basic attack, another dash, basic attack, basic attack. Let's actually turn off zero cooldown. The reason that I'm saying this is because you can dash, and if you're close to the enemy, it's even better because then your dash will attack as well. But like that doesn't matter that much, so let's do it. Let me show you the combo. Dash, second ability, third ability, basic attack, and then another first ability, and just keep going on that enemy. This is like the basic ganking combo. That's how you want to come out of the bush and gank the lane. Honestly, there's really not that many combos. I mean, you can also like put down your second ability, basic attack, first ability, get them to, let's see what the exact threshold is, to 55% health. And then when they're below 55% health, so essentially get the enemy to half health while you're fighting. So like around this. And then third ability, because then boom, boom, and boom, that's when this bonus damage kicks in. That's when this ability will do 150% bonus damage. Not 50, 150. So not double the damage, double plus half more. So that's another thing you need to note about it, because this ability does have a decently long cooldown. Because look, if I use it in the beginning of the fight, you know, boom, 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 I have to wait for 8 seconds, right? Like, otherwise it would be beyond broken. Another thing to note, when you put your third ability on an enemy, you can wait, basic attack, I've already explained this, but the cooldown is going down, boom, look, and before I can hit him, I can already put it on another enemy, boom, and on another enemy it has been put. You see what I mean? This is what I mean, like, that's why it can be good if you enter, so to enter, immediately put it on him, second ability, boom, boom, boom. Now it's only like 5 more seconds until I can use it again, right? So those are the things you really gotta know about Kindred. And To be fair, you can... There are some flash combos perhaps. You can first ability and immediately flash on the enemy. But I would generally run Ghost on Kindred. I feel like that's going to be a lot better. Besides that, there's really not that many combos. I'm going to talk about how to draft Kindred real quick with you guys. You do not want to pick Kindred into a lot of sustain damage. Like Oriana or into poke damage. Into Varus. You want to pick Kindred into burst. So Katarina... into Samira. Imagine a Katarina all-ins your team and you're just like boom! And she doesn't get a single takedown. Imagine you pick Kindred into Darius. She fights your team and boom! He doesn't get the takedown. So essentially you ask yourself the question, does the enemies have like big bursty takedowns? Pick Kindred. You're just gonna ult. Does the enemy have sustained type of damage? You do not ult. That's really the question you have to ask yourself. Really all you have to ask, and that's how you pick Kindred properly, because she has enough range to really reach anyone, especially in the late game. Like her range is crazy. Look at how far the range is. And honestly, I would stick to that. I would not always just pick Kindred, because Kindred also struggles against very strong early game champions. Like Lee Sin early game will dominate her. Pantheon early game will dominate her. You gotta be very, very careful about those types of champions. Also, you gotta be careful about champions that can push you out of your ult, like Lee Sin. If you ult and Lee Sin, boom, pushes you out of your ult, you're gonna die. But your ult will remain on the Lee Sin. So essentially, you're gonna ult, Lee Sin kicks you out, and all of the enemies are still going to be within your ult, going to be unkillable, but you are going to die. So be very careful into champions that can push you away from your ult. You know, Lee Sin, what is another example that can push you away? I'm pretty sure there's more, but I just cannot think properly about them right now. But Blitzcrank, he can hook you out of your ult. Pyke, he can hook you out of his ult. Right? Be careful about those types of champions. Although Pyke is an interesting one, because of course you can block Pyke's ultimate with your ultimate. So let's talk about how to build Kindred. This video is getting a little bit too long, but I really just had to say a lot of this stuff, a lot of stuff about how to play Kindred. I apologize for uploading this video a little bit late. I gotta be real with you guys. I've been, you know, chilling with my family. It's Easter right now, so for me that's a little bit more important than my business. So here's the build that I recommend. Although there's one more item I would actually change, depending. This is a situational item. Where is it? Navori Quickblade. Here. So I think this build is gonna change. It's subject to change, because if you look at everyone is building her differently. People still kind of have to figure out what's gonna be the best way to build Kindred. I'm gonna give you guys my recommendation, just quickly looking through the top builds. I mean, look, this guy goes Navori first, which is fine. This guy goes Blade of the Noon King, anti-tank build, and this guy goes for anti-squishy build. Everything is different. Everything is different. But what I recommend to you guys, not a Runan's Hurricane, by the way, not at all. Don't go Runan's. Ignore that. I recommend the attack speed boots, Berserker Greaves, first of all. Even though you do get a lot of attack speed, Berserker Greaves are great because this allows you to go full damage with your build. This is the only attack speed I suggest you go. You don't need Solari, you don't need Runans, you don't need Blade of the Noon King, all of that. You don't need any of that. Your abilities do more than enough percentage HP damage. Get this, Trinity Force for the jungle clear, Bloodthirster for the healing. And then here, Collector against Squishies, Navori against tanks. This is the difference I would make. Collector against Squishies, Navori against tanks. Because Navori lets you spam your abilities. Your abilities do damage based on the enemy's HP, which is going to be better into tanks. Collector gives you more overall damage. And of course, that finishing touch, the Collector. So this is going to be better into squishy enemies. That's the only thing I would say about the build. I want to make it easy for you guys for now. That's why I'm saying, like, just build this and later you can start exploring other builds. By the way, if this video reaches 1,000 likes, I'll make sure I master Kindred and bring you guys a video within a week or so. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you give the video a like. And then, you know, more to reminder, fourth item, of course. Last item, GA is going to be A-OK. These are some situational items, not the Death Dance, but these are some situational items that you can go for as well. All of them are fine. Black Cleaver, I mean, it's good because your third ability does physical damage. So having a Black Cleaver can be very, very good if the enemies have a lot of armor. You can go for that instead of the Collector, instead of the Trinity Force even. Will give you a slower jungle clear, but will be very good into tanks. And then here, stasis is possible, but remember, your ult is a big-ass stasis already. I suggest QSS. This allows you to keep fighting like crazy and just go for the QSS. Like, I really suggest you to go QSS. Here, the big trap is Lethal Tempo. A lot of people will think, Lethal Tempo is going to be very good because I want attack speed. No. You have more than enough attack speed. More than enough. First Strike? No, not necessary. Kraken Slayer? Yes. Why? Because your first ability, if you just get a couple of stacks, you get the ball rolling, Kraken Slayer will do insane damage. Because remember, you're going heavy AD items because you don't need attack speed. You're gonna go heavy AD, which means you're gonna be getting a lot of AD with skills with Kraken Slayer, so your Kraken Slayer is gonna do a ton of true damage on top of all of your damage as well. This is absolutely the best rune on Kindred. Also, Kraken Slayer does a lot of damage early game, so it's like overall the best rune. Here we go for Brutal, just for the early game damage. Giant Slayer, Legend Alacrity for the attack speed, and then Sudden Impact. Oh baby, this one. Every time you roll, Sudden Impact gets applied. Every time you dash, which is essentially going to be the whole time, because it gives you the armor penetration for 4 seconds. This is the best rune you can go on Kindred. And then here, Smite and Ghost. You can also go Flash, but I recommend the Ghost. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.